Nerds of the Undisputed Universe, welcome once again to another pop-tacular, pop-tastic, amazing episode of Undisputed Nerds with your host, the Gentlemanly Gamer, and Zane Taicho. Good evening. How are you, Zane? I'm not going to do the say hello thing today.
I'm doing well, thank you. Not too bad. How about yourself?
I am doing very well. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time listening to the Undisputed Nerds, this is where we take a light-hearted look at all of the comic book movie news, games, TV, and all that other kind of stuff. And like this week's episode, we take a random topic based on a basic fan trailer that was released and go, yeah, that was what we think is going to happen with things. So, yeah, anyway. It's a good time. Join us. It's bantery. Just go with it. Zane, how are you? What's new?
Yeah, not too bad. I may have mentioned it on the podcast before, but I will be attending New York Comic Con in the next couple of days. So if you happen to see myself, make sure to say hello. I'm a little bit excited.
This is quite a controversial subject, actually, listeners, because he had a choice. He had a very distinct choice of who to take. His podcasting partner, dare I say it, brother, or a lady who he sleeps with, and he's chosen to go with the lady he sleeps with, and that's unfortunate, really, isn't it, Zane? You know, I mean, you've drawn your line in the sand, and I understand where it's coming from, but just saying, I'm only a little bit hurt. If I find out, and I don't want to start this on an argument, but if I find out next week that you've taken Elliot. Who is the co-host of Zane's other plug popular podcast, Undisputed Anime. I'm not going to be happy, Zane. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to be happy. This could be the greatest breakup since Punk and the Elite.
Wow. No, it's not Elliot, but you should come on Undisputed Anime. I was thinking about this when I was making some toast the other day.
Slow down, Tiger.
High brain function.
Basically, so I don't know whether I should be complimented by that the idea of me coming on Undisputed Anime is triggered in your head by watching something burn down.
Or buttered.
You butter it in the toaster? What's wrong with you? He's got them fancy machines.
But no, I was thinking it'd be fun, like if you came on and maybe if I gave you like 5 superhero themed anime to watch and just have your thoughts, and if it could convert you, I think that'd be an interesting.
Can we not talk about the cyberpunk thing, or is it too late for that now? Is it past the time? It's past the time. I can see the look on his face. He's like, nope, we're out of the analytics on it. It's not worth it anymore. Big money Zane is not worth it anymore. No, that's it. I'm out.
Wow.
Going back just slightly on a rewind, I'd love to go on Undisputed Anime anytime you want me, just for the record. But that's on air now. That's recorded. He'll edit it out, but it's on air.
But no, I think it'd be great. Like, and especially if people who listen to this podcast, they want to hear an episode where we talk about superhero themed anime, because you never know, some people might want to.
We should do that.
Dip their toe.
I've seen. I can't remember which way around it always says, but I think it's Ninja Batman. I've seen Ninja Batman, so that works. Let's rewind just a little bit back. So yes, Zane is going to be at New York Comic Con, guys. So if there's any of our American listeners who are in the New York area, and you want to pop by, or you are popping to New York Comic Con, you want to see him, please go and say hello. Zane, I'm not going to put you on the spot here, so you can tell me no, but are we allowed to reveal what your planned Comic-Con dress up is going to be so that people recognize you when you're there, or is that something you're going to reveal via your Instagram on the day?
First of all, that is very British to say, isn't it? Dress up, fancy dress.
I'm an extremely white middle class man. Of course I'm going to say dress up, darling.
I think okay, so there is 2 cosplays. They're very low key cosplays. They're not like high function ones.
You heard it here first. He's going all out.
Yeah, why not? Let's mention it. So the specific one, and I think this is a great theme for today's episode. I will be low key cosplaying Bishop from X-Men.
So just to be clear, he's going to be playing Bishop, not Loki.
I did think about a variant, with the jacket
I
and
was
the tie
just
and
thinking
shirt,
that. Yeah, you
and
should
then have the long hair.
I would have loved. Yeah, if we'd have been going together, I'm going to put this out here now because I would have done this if we'd have been going together and we would have done Loki variants, because I totally would have done the Richard E. Grant original Loki costume. I would have done it for you. Obviously, include a couple of extra socks down there because it needs to be, but just regardless.
All for glorious purpose.
Exactly. Very good. Hang on a sec. Wait. Hold on. Let me put the microphone down so that I can applaud that.
Thank you.
Beautifully done, my friend. Beautifully done.
You.
Yes. Yeah, you're going as Bishop. I cannot wait to see that look, especially as I'm the one who came up with that idea with you. So I cannot wait to see how it turns out. I reckon you're going to look amazing. I can't wait to see it, mate. So
Thank you.
if you see a slightly disgruntled Englishman dressed as Bishop on the New York Comic-Con floor, please go and give him some bother and say, hey, talk about this on the show. I want to hear about this because we're desperate for ideas, aren't we? Really saying, I mean, look, the well's running dry. This is the last episode, pretty much, isn't it? Oh my God, we're all ruined. Jeez, oh no, it's all falling apart.
Yes.
Well, that's good. Well, whilst you are in New York, I will be in my apartment in my pants doing nothing. So that's good.
Beautiful.
I have been watching Andor though this week, Zane. I've been we did a little review of it, the first episode last week, so go and check that out if you have not already. Yeah, it's good, man. It's really
getting
good,
isn't it?
Yeah, I've not seen this week's episode, but spoiler alert, guys, because I saw this as a spoiler, so I don't. Zane, you might not want to listen to this bit, but apparently there is a link to the Force Unleashed in this week's episode. Which I'm quite excited about because I did enjoy the first Force Unleashed quite a lot. But yeah, I thought that the episode 3 with Stellan Skarsgård, I can never say his name, Stellan Skarsgård, coming more front and center, seemingly as one of the core guys behind the rebellion, with all the chains and the cogs and stuff was awesome. Like, it was really good.
Really good. Yeah,
it was really good. So yeah, stick with that. If you didn't like the first episode of Andor, stick with it because it really does get really good. It makes me almost want to go back and watch Lord of the Rings because I was like, first episode's a bit poo, but maybe it gets better.
Oh, I see what you mean. Did you know it had
even though the first episode of Andor wasn't poo, it was good. Sorry, go on.
Did you know this is the first time a curse word's been said in Star Wars?
I saw that. It's the SHIT, isn't it?
It is, and beautifully delivered by a Scotsman as well. Like,
aye. Yeah, sorry, apologies to any of our Scottish listeners for my appalling accent. Yeah, no, it's I know Star Wars is going proper grown up Star Wars. It's wild. Do you know, I was having a conversation. I met up with my brother tonight. Hello, my brother, if you're listening, because I know you do listen, you lovely man. He was telling me that he's just recently introduced my nephew to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Great choice.
So it is a great choice, staple of any childhood growing up. So it's good. And then he went looking for Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the second one, which is a bit more adult themed. So he wanted to check it out before he showed it to my nephew, right? Now, over in this country, we obviously have a different set of ratings. The BBFC, we have PG, we have 12, 12A, 15, 18, and then it's unrated after that, and Universal as well, so anyone can.
Isn't there a 16?
Is there a 16 now? Are you thinking of? I thought you were thinking of America, isn't it? It's like 16.
Oh, is it America have 16?
Well, America has PG-13.
Yeah.
Then I thought it was like 16, and then it was like rated R, and then X.
Right. I see.
I don't know. I could be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. If the BBFC's changed, because I'm now an old man and I don't have to worry about that kind of thing anymore. But yeah, so get this, right? So he couldn't find Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey in the UK, so he used a VPN, Maybe think about inserting it. Maybe. Zane, did you know that I love to surf?
No, I didn't.
I know, it's amazing. You'd never believe it looking at me, but I am an avid surfer. Not of the sea, though. Oh, no. I am a surfer of the World Wide Web, my friend. And let me tell you something. When I go surfing, I definitely need some protection. Not the usual kind of wetsuit, though. I need some VPN. Do you know what VPN means, Zane?
I don't. What's a VPN?
Well, it would be a virtual private network, and let me tell you, we here at Undisputed Nerds are being sponsored this week, and a big thank you to the episode sponsor, Surfshark VPN. You can get Surfshark VPN 83% off and free months free, Zane, if you go to surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds and enter in the promo code Undisputed Nerds. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which opens up a whole world of content libraries, Zane. So think about it this way. If you're in the UK, you can watch US Netflix, which has a far bigger selection of movies. You can get all of your Batfleck content that I know you love, Zane. I know you're looking for. If you're outside of the UK as well, you can watch amazing apps like BBC iPlayer. And if you're in the US, you can finally get access back to the old WWE network with its far superior functionality. We've been using, me and Zane have been using Surfshark here at Undisputed Nerds for a while. It is our official VPN, and it doesn't just let us gain access to all the comic book movies, but it also secures our networks by encrypting internet traffic, keeping our location and download history private, thankfully, so that people can't see me purchasing wetsuits. My favorite feature on the Surfshark, it knows when my phone leaves a trusted connection, like my home or work internet, and it immediately turns on to prevent interference. It's like having, I don't know, Batfleck's Justice League for your phone, Zane.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I know you've got a lot of Batfleck on your phone right now. So sign up to Surfshark today by using our link in the video description below, surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds, where you'll get, again, 83% off and your first 3 months free if you use the code Undisputed Nerds. We really appreciate if you just at least check them out, as they're a great company and we love working with them. Support Undisputed Nerds and support your internet privacy with Surfshark. Yeah, he used the VPN and he went to I think he went to America. No, he can't have gone to America. He went to another area. And guess what certificate Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was? Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, mind you.
Oh, no idea.
Well, what would you say it was over here? Out of those ratings, you've got PG, you've got 12, 12A, 15, 18. What would you say it is over here?
13A or 12A?
What, you've invented a new rating, have you? What, 13A? What are you talking about? When it came out over here as a PG, it was a parental guidance, right?
Right.
In this place that he went to, he doesn't know whether the tag was wrong or what. It was an 18.
Wow.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And he said he watched through it, and I was like, there's nothing in this that would make it an 18. And I'm like,
because an 18 would be like hard drugs or,
hard drugs, sexual content, violence, extreme swearing, all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, none of it. He said there's one section where an army general makes a homosexual slur.
Right.
And that's the only thing that he could think of that might up the rating of it. So if you're in the country, so basically this is a cry out to the listeners, because I was shocked, right? But if you're in the country where Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is rated 18, please write in and let us know, or message me on Instagram, slide into my DMs at Gentlemanly Gamer, whatever you want. Please let me know why the hell it's rated 18, because that was one of the films that I grew up with when I was like 12, 13, and I adore Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. It's one of my favorite films ever. So I'm just absolutely shocked that it was like, I couldn't believe it was an 18, Zane. It freaked me out.
I'm just trying to think of a reason why. Like, surely
Maybe
can't
it's
be
the depiction of hell, possibly, because they go to hell in it, and the devil is there.
Yeah, I was thinking more the depiction of death, like, the
Oh yeah,
afterlife,
maybe.
and then playing chess against
Yeah, it's
death. I don't
terrifying
know.
to see him play Subutio, Twister. Damn right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's bits with the robots, the bad robot Bill and Ted's, where they like take their heads off, and it's like the endoskeleton underneath. Yeah, I can understand that being a bit scary for kids, but again, it's just weird, like what you would consider, because like think about the Suicide Squad that we've talked about this before, where you have King Shark literally on screen ripping a man in half, and that's a 15.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make sense. I don't understand it. So yeah, write in if you're in that country that Bill and Ted Bogus Journey is an 18, or let us know what rating Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is in your country, because I need to know. I need to know. Right. So this week, Zane, what are we going to be talking about this week as the main topic of the show?
Great question. You text it to me and I've forgotten already. Something about 5 mutants.
All right.
No, maybe
So
less.
for those of you who have been living under a rock for the past week, there was a trailer that was released by Ryan Reynolds. It was a little trailer talking about Deadpool 3. And basically, he made a massive announcement that Hugh Jackman is going to be reprising the role of Wolverine again, one last time in Deadpool 3. And so the marketing is literally writing itself. You've got the Deadpool symbol with the 3 claws across it. So it got us thinking, if they are putting Wolverine in this movie, what other mutants would we like to see showing up in a Deadpool movie? And so today we're going to be talking about our picks for who we would like to see showing up in the Deadpool movie, potentially, and maybe some of the interactions they might have with Deadpool therein. I've got 3, and I think Zane has a couple, but like he said, I text him last minute, so he probably hasn't found any. I'm gonna have to do all 5 on. I am gonna cry about this.
Just for casual listeners, I think, or maybe casual viewers of the XMen franchise, are we using people that have already appeared in the Fox universe, or we go in completely off the board?
Free for all. We can use Fox, or because So here's the thing. There's been a lot of speculation this week. I don't want to get into it too much because we'll talk about it in the main event. But there's been speculation around Fox universe because of this. So let's talk about that when we get to the actual topic. But before we do any of that, we need to prepare ourselves with some fantastic adverts, don't we, Zane?
Absolutely.
Let's see them. Well, there you go, guys. I mean, I think it's pretty clear what you need to do. So, but before we get on to our main event of the mutants, Zane.
Yes.
The Bat. He's out there. Batman is out there. He's doing some murdering.
And detective work.
Well, mainly murdering. Comic books, he's doing detective work. Films. So, it is time for our weekly session where we ask yourself and the listeners to identify the Batman 360 no scope. Give us that theme. That's enough. Right, good. Oh no, you're playing it again. We can't afford it, Zane.
It was on a loop. It was on a loop.
Jesus, that was close.
My God.
Oh my God, I could feel that David Zayas guy calling us and charging us double money for that usage. God almighty. Right. So for those of you who are new to the channel or need a refresher on what this is, so Batman 360 no scope. Batman loves his murders in the movies. He really does. He loves to kill in the movies. He doesn't like to do it in the comic books, but in the movies, he's all game for a good bit of the old slap and tickle murder. So what we do every week is I provide Zane with an audio clip of a murder that Batman has performed in one of his movies over the decades. And we ask Zane to identify the film, the year, and who Batman's killing. I believe I have furnished you with the appropriate clip this week. So we started with an easy one. We did a hard one last week. This one
Mm.
should be an easy one for you. I'm anticipating easy things for you. So, Zane, if you have the clip ready, hit us
Here we
with
go.
that Batman murder. Who's he killing, Zane?
So,
he's got this. He's got this. You can see it instantly. Look at it.
I believe it's one of the Joker goons or thugs in the first Batman movie.
Yes.
In the bell tower / church.
Yes.
And I want to say the move involved was, I suspect at some point Batman falls between the bell and like a little, and then the thug looks down to see Batman's remains, which he is anticipating, but Batman uses his legs like a hurricanrana for our wrestling fans and pulls him down. Frankenstein, and pulls him down with his thick thighs into the hole.
Zane, it's a ding, ding, ding. You didn't give me the year, but that's fine. We all know it's 89? Batman 89. Yeah, okay, There we go. Cool. Yes, you are correct. This is Batman murdering a Joker goon by using his Keaton thickness to pull him down the cathedral tower, killing him in the process with a loud... Zane, you did it again. Congratulations. Did you at home work out what the kill was? I think we all got that one. It's a nice and easy one this week. Next week, I'm going to give you a hard one, Zane. I've already got it in mind what I'm going to do. So, it's going to be a good one.
That's iconic, that one. Like
it is iconic. It is iconic. I think there's only one other cathedral one that is as iconic, which you'll get like in 2 seconds flat when I put it on the show. And I will be putting it on the show at some point. Don't worry. But yes, there you go. So, for those of you playing along at home, it was Batman 1989, and it was Joker killed by Keaton thickness on the cathedral.
Thick thighs.
That Keaton animal. Whoa, God.
That's what Vicky Vale was drawn to.
It was
quads.
He was actually practicing that move when she saw him hanging upside down in the Batcave.
When she wakes up and he's just hanging.
He's just hanging. That's normal.
After a night of passion.
I wonder what the connection is here. There's a guy out there dressed as a bat, and I've just slept with this millionaire, and I've woken up in the morning, and he's hanging like a bat in the living room. Can't think of what that connection is. Investigative journalist Vicky Vale. That's a normal thing, isn't it? You sleep with a guy and you wake up in the morning and he's just hanging by his ankles. The other question I have about this, as we've gone off on a Batman tangent, the other question I have about this scene is, how did he get up there? There's nothing around him. There's no apparatus around him to get in it. What does he do? Just do a backflip into it or something? What is that?
Surely he calls Alfred in.
I was just... Alfred serves him up on a tray.
Quietly, she's asleep.
Yeah, of course. You don't want to. Yeah, we know Keaton's an animal, but only on the streets, not in the sheets.
Gentleman 24/7.
Bat hanging gentleman. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Right. Okay. All right. So yeah, moving on. So so as we mentioned earlier on, guys, for those of you who are listening from the beginning, I don't know why you wouldn't be. I don't know why I said that. Ignore that. Wolverine is going to be in Deadpool 3. It was announced this week. It's going to be Hugh Jackman coming back since Logan.
Baby.
Spoiler alert for Logan, he died. So yeah, it's the first time he's going to be playing Wolverine since then. And it's got a lot of people. I mean, there is literally no details about this movie so far, other than Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be in it. That is lit. Like that is it. Oh, and it's going to be in the MCU clearly because they've been bought by Fox. So it got us thinking. me thinking. Um, if they're introducing Wolverine, what context are they introducing Wolverine in? Well, maybe they are doing an introductory movie to some mutants. Maybe we're going to see more than just
Ooh.
Wolverine showing up. Who knows? Maybe the Wolverine will be a cameo and he won't even be in it full time, but they're just going full blast on the marketing. Because let's face it, guys, we've seen stuff like that happen before. But anyway, Deadpool has been in multiple teams. He's teamed with multiple different people over the years. So it got us thinking, who else would we like to see showing up in the Deadpool movies? Who else would we like to see maybe in X-Force, in an X-Force movie? Obviously, they kind of did a pseudo X-Force last time with Domino and Cable and Colossus and Negasonic. And obviously, the mass amount of mutants like Brad Pitt who just died instantly. But yeah, so we wanted to say, who might we see this time in Deadpool 3? And so we're going to run through a list of, well, I've got 3 really kind of, one normal one that a lot of people will see coming, 2 kind of out there ones that you probably wouldn't necessarily see coming.
Okay.
I don't know how many you've got, Zane.
I've got 3.
You've got 3? Oh, look at you. Zane in here with his big old 3. All right. Well, shall I kick us off then?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So my first pick for this, I wanted to kind of go a little bit outside the box, but also make it a mutant that is quite recognizable. So I think, most mutants are recognizable in the X-Men. They do design them that way. But with this one, I think it's going to be one of those ones where when people hear it, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, that guy. Cool. So what we've seen so far from Deadpool is obviously he's been like a renegade. He's not really been attached to the X-Men team. Then he kind of created his own team and that side of things. But we've never really seen more from him other than his sword and gunplay. So I thought, what would be interesting what would happen if he interacted with a genius level intellect who could perhaps design stuff for him. And so I thought, what if they were to introduce the mutant Forge into Deadpool 3? Forge, obviously, he's also had a close affiliation with Wolverine over the years. They were together in the Days of Future Past. So for those of you who don't know who Forge is, so Forge is an X-Man. His basic his mutant power is that he is a genius. He is a genius level intellect. He's not a technopath, but he has the innate ability to be able to invent anything. He can just create anything he wants, basically, if he puts his mind to it. He is recognizable by his cybernetic leg and arm. He's got an arm off, which he created himself. He's a very cool character. Like, his background is he was raised, like, he's got this weird, like, I didn't realize this, but when I looked back on his origin, he was actually a mystical shaman. Did you know that?
I knew he had, like,
he's got shamanistic powers.
Yeah, some sort of, like, mystic past. But I never, like you said, I'm more familiar with Forge from the animated cartoon series.
Yes. Yeah. As you said, he can spirit travel using his mystical abilities and that kind of thing. He just doesn't do it very often because it's he much more leans into the technological side of things. There's a portion of time in the comic books where Tony Stark, after he becomes Iron Man, he stops designing weapons for the US, and the government constricts Forge to design weapons for them instead.
Wow.
So that's the kind of intellect level where he's at. He's as intelligent, if not more intelligent, than Tony Stark when it comes to designing. As you said, in the animated series, he was most popular because he's in that Days of Future Past storyline. He's the one who sends Wolverine back in time. Bishop, sorry, back in time. After Wolverine gets vaporized by a Sentinel. So yeah,
Did
if
he
you've watched,
also help build the Danger Room? Am I right in thinking?
In the comics,
I couldn't say if it was comics or a TV show. I could have sworn he's
not
like
in the TV show. I don't think, but I believe so in the comics. I think you're right. He does help design it in the comics. Yeah, he's a really cool character. Like the reason why he has one arm and one leg is because he fought in Vietnam and they were blasted off. So that's why he's got a nice traumatic background as well. To go with the pathos. And I think that it would be really interesting to see, an Ultra Genius interacting with Deadpool. Maybe even like that's the introduction of that is where you get like this like Deadpool upgrades, because like they've got to escalate it for Deadpool 3, haven't they? Come on, it's Ryan Reynolds. He's gonna up the stakes. He's gonna end up looking like the guy he CGI represents in Free Guy, the big meat guy. Dude, that's it. But yeah, I think he hasn't been in the Fox movies as far as I can recall. He ties in quite nicely to the XMen 97 series.
Yeah.
And I think it would be quite cool to see him. What do you think?
That's a great pull. I used to have a Forge
Deadpool, mate.
I used to have a Forge action figure. So it's I think it's really cool.
It's a really iconic look. The only thing that I can think of is that they may not like it because it goes too in line with what we've seen from Cable, because obviously Cable had that big mechanical arm. But I want to see.
You say that everyone's got a mechanical arm. Exactly. Like Bucky's got one.
Bucky's got one. Like... Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, I want to see. I want to see Forge. Give us Forge. Anyway, what is your first one, Tiger?
So first one. Ooh. So I instantly thought of the Fox universe, and one of my favorites, which I don't think they got a lot of screen time when they first debuted, but that was Olivia Munn's Psylocke. Sorry.
Nice. Yeah, I almost picked Psylocke. That was my. If it wasn't Forge, it was going to be Psylocke. That was a very close second. Very nice, mate.
Psylocke's really cool, as you mentioned. Like in the comics, they're part of X-Force and such. And I know, like at the moment, I want to say the writer is called Peach Momoko is doing a run in the comic books at the moment, which are really cool because it's all kind of Japanese, like samurai themed. So you've got like Psylocke doing this sort of like feudal Japan sort of watercolor style. It looks really cool. But anyway, I think Psylocke would be like a nice sort of addition, especially if Domino makes another appearance as well. Why not add more females? To the team and for the bands.
Do you want to give some background into who she is for those of you who are not familiar with Psylocke?
Well, it gets a little complicated, doesn't it? Because the current Captain Britain is also like jumbled up in the persona.
Yeah, I mean, just go. I would just go back to her origins in the books and just like state who she, because they'll probably stick faithfully to. Yeah, it's Betsy Braddock, isn't it? Is Psylocke, and it gets a bit weird with whose body she inhabits and that kind of things, but we won't go into that. But yeah, she's basically the sister of Captain Britain is the idea. And it does seem like they might be doing a Captain Britain kind of style of things with Excalibur and all that other kind of jazz with the Black Knight and all this other stuff. So I can see that tying in. She's a she kind of creates side daggers, doesn't she? It's a weird power set.
Yeah. It's the best way to describe it is, like you said, like some sort of cyber telekinesis or energy based like swords, or
got
like
mind lightsabers, basically.
Yeah, nice purple ones. But she can also like expand the length and size of the sword or blade. So for example, in the days, no, is it Apocalypse the movie? She uses like a massive. Never mind.
No, keep going. I'm not rising to it.
To when she's like free falling, and she uses it to slow the momentum of her fall by slicing through a building, sort of thing. It's really cool.
Car, she chops a car in half with her mind. Yeah. It's a cool power set. It's a good show. Psylocke is a very instantly recognizable. I mean, she wears. They'd have to modify the outfit probably a little bit because she's quite revealing. Olivia Munn can adjust my psionic sword any day of the week, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I think they'd have to change a little bit of the outfit and whatnot. But I think she's a really good fit. I think that it's it's a good tie-in as well, like we said, to the Captain Britain arc of things. And yeah, I think she's she's cool. She's cool, and she would also, like Forge as well. She would adapt very well into the X-Men regular universe, like as part of the X-Men team, if they wanted to kind of do that. Have that awkward walk away at the end of the Ryan Reynolds film where they're all kind of just like, well, what do we do now? And it's like, hello, I'm Charles Xavier.
And she's very like straight to the point sort of character. Do you know what I mean? Like no nonsense. So it plays off well off the Deadpool kind of like the straight man to the comedic side of Deadpool and such. So yeah,
I think that's a really good shout, mate. I think that's a really good shout. Cool. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Right. Do you want my next one?
Yeah, tee up.
All right. Let's do some off the wall ones that it won't. I'm sure. I don't think they will introduce him, but I would love it if they did, because this guy is absolutely crazy. So my pick for the next choice is a mutant called Phantom X.
I don't think I'm familiar.
So Phantom X is the mutant man of mystery. He's basically an evolution of mutant and technology combined. So he wears a white suit with like a balaclava mask, and he uses 2 twin guns. Okay.
Nice.
He is the product of his human mother mating with a machine.
Okay.
It'll start to make more sense to you, and you probably will understand this a bit more in a minute. He kind of is his quasi-mutant status kind of thing. He's got 3 brains.
Oh.
And he's also, part of his nervous system is in a spaceship called Eva. So it's disembodied from him, but intrinsically linked to him. He's a really weird character. And because he's created, so this is where I think it ties into Deadpool. He has been part of X-Force in the books. I think it was Cable's X-Force that he was part of. But this is where it ties into Deadpool. And this is what I think they might actually be going with. This is my early speculation for the Deadpool movie.
Okay.
He is Weapon 13.
Oh.
So much like Wolverine is Weapon X and Deadpool is Weapon 11, I think he is, or something like that. I'm not sure which number he is. Phantom X is Weapon 13. So he was created as part of the Weapon Plus project. He was originally made. He's basically supposed to be like the super secret agent who could infiltrate and do all this kind of jazzy stuff because he's super intelligent, cunning, manipulative. And then he was also a prototype, or supposed to be a prototype in the comics, for like the next generation of the Super Sentinels.
Okay.
So he was going to be the mutant hunters, basically. But what happened is, as all Weapon X, characters do, he branched out, he escaped, and his brains, they adapted and accumulated the culture that they enjoyed the most, which was the French culture. So he adopts the name Jean-Philippe Charles.
Nice.
He's got a French accent and a love for the French culture. So I think they may be trying to plug in Deadpool into this Weapon X program with Wolverine. We might find out that we see other, because if X-23 is in this as well, then it would make a lot more sense of that. So you could fit Weapon 13 into this, and then the fact that he's French, I mean, the jokes will write themselves for Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. The interactions between Phantom X, plus the fact that he's got a living spaceship that's part of his central nervous system following him. It's just, I mean, it's so bat-s off the wall that it's exactly the kind of thing that I can see Ryan Reynolds doing. And I can totally see him interacting. He's been in a load of different stuff. Like I said, he was in. I think he's been part of the Astonishing X-Men. He's also been in Cable's X-Force for sure. I know that because Cable ran an X-Force after, like not that long ago in the comics, and I know he was a big part of it.
Mhm.
I mean, as far as his powers are concerned, he's got loads of powers. Like it's not even worth. I mean, nanoactive blood, body supremacy, regenerative healing factor, superhuman intelligence, secondary nervous system, externalized nervous system, 3 brains, superhuman agility, enhanced strength, and his body doesn't create any scent, making it difficult for even the likes of Wolverine to track him.
Wow.
Yes. He's cool. As soon as I show you a picture of him, Zane, if you want to see a picture of him, you're welcome to. But if you were to see a picture of him, you'd recognize him instantly. It is a very recognizable look. It's just the name isn't so much out there.
Okay.
Yeah, his his code name is Charlie Cluster 7.
It's longer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, steady. But yes, part of the Weapon Plus project. So there you go. That's my second pick is Phantomax.
Interesting. Interesting.
Those are my two not off the wall, but kind of off the wall ones. The third one's going to
Yeah.
be a lot more grounded, and I think it's probably very likely.
Okay. So as we're kind of going down that speculation hole of how it could play to the movie and such,
You're very saucy tonight, Zane, with your language. I'm just going to say it.
my second pick was also I tried to think how would they fall in line with the movie and how they would benefit the movie as well. And my pick was Bishop, which is a running theme of this episode, apparently.
Nice.
So yeah, I feel like it would be. So here's my kind of like idea: is that instead of having Josh Brolin back as Cable to do the time travel, jump in dimensions, whatever it may be, I think it'd be really cool if they used Bishop, who we saw in Days of Future Past movie, and it's
Mhm.
either he tries to stop Deadpool going through a multiverse and creating madness,
Yeah.
who I think we will then see a variant of Hugh Jackman's Logan, the same way we got a variant of Patrick Stewart's Charles.
Yeah. There's a lot of speculation going on at the moment that Wolverine
Yeah.
in this will be the Wolverine from the cartoon series, X-Men 97, much in the
Ah.
similar way to the Charles Xavier one seemed to have the yellow hover chair
Mm,
and seemed to potentially be that one as well. So
yeah.
there's a
Could
lot
be
of
the same
speculation that
universe.
it could be the same universe. There's a lot of
Mm.
speculation we're going to see Jackman in the yellow and blue this time as well.
That'd be nice. But yeah, I like the idea that maybe Bishop again is like replace the Cable character and it's just kind of like stop what you're doing, like
Yeah.
Kang's on his way, like do you know what I mean? Kind of
Yeah.
be the I don't know, almost the one who kind of spills the beans all the time, gives the exposition and everything else, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So do you want me to give you some background to Bishop because
Yeah, please. Yeah.
I love Bishop. So the idea behind Bishop is he's a mutant with the ability to absorb and then channel energy into his
Hmm.
body. So if he gets shot, for example, by a laser gun, he can absorb that power and then fire it right back at you. He can't he does have a limiter, so if he absorbs too much, it overwhelms him.
Yeah.
That is his mutant ability. He normally channels it through a special gun that he has.
Hmm.
So he has special weaponry that he can use to channel that power even more through them. He is from a dystopian future. So he's from the Days of Future Past.
Hmm.
So he's part of in the future, the Sentinels have rounded up all the mutants, and they have mutants hunting mutants. Basically, they have police forces
Yeah.
where mutants hunt other mutants and put them into the internment camps that are in the future. And Bishop is a policeman for them basically in the future. And then I can't remember exactly how it happens, but he basically ends up going back in time, and you know, the rest is kind of history.
Yeah.
It's a really good pick, man. I think we might well see Bishop pop. I think we'll definitely see Bishop popping up in the MCU at some point. I don't know
Mm.
whether we'll see him in the Deadpool film. I think that relationship between the two of them, I think you're right. I think it could be really good and like a nice little deadpan thing. I was thinking he might go to I think you might be it'll either be the Weapon X. I think they'll either focus on the his
Yeah.
past as part of the Weapon X process,
Hmm.
procedure, whatever you want to say, or like you said, it would be Deadpool tumbling through the multiverse. Because I was
Yeah.
thinking when you said that, I was thinking, did you ever read District X? Did you ever read that?
No, I
So
haven't.
there was basically like a it was kind of, if anyone's ever seen The Wire, it was kind of like the plot of one of the episodes of The Wire, where basically there is a town in America where all the mutants are living, and it's
Right.
called District X. And Bishop was like the sheriff of that town,
Oh
so he
wow.
enforced the law in that town, and I could see Deadpool tumbling into District X and causing trouble there and having a run in with Bishop. I could see that happening quite
That'd
nicely.
be cool. I
It
like
would be
that.
cool. It would be cool. Yeah, I love Bishop. He's a fantastic character. Very good pick, man. Very very good pick. So
Thank you.
yeah, I like that a lot. And also, you just look like him.
I'll
Really
take the
weird.
compliment.
It's
I'll take
really
the
weird,
compliment.
honestly. Honestly, guys, go and get a picture of Bishop from the comic books, and then put it up next to Zane. It's quite scary how much you do look like him, Zane.
I just need the arms. That's the problem.
You've got 'em,
Bishop's
mate.
like,
You've got the guns. Don't worry about it.
once I start curling, I'm sure it'll get
You've
there.
also got the energy absorbing powers, which I'll prove to you the next time I see you by punching you.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. So my final choice
Hmm.
for mutants, I if we don't see him in the Deadpool movie, I will say we will. I'm 99% sure we'll see him in an X-Men movie.
Okay.
Um, but my last choice is one of my favorites. It's Warren Worthington III, otherwise known as Angel.
Wow.
So, as far as the interactions with Deadpool, Warren Worthington III is so he's a mutant with the power of flight. He
Hmm.
has angelic wings, hence why he's called Angel. He is one of the founding members of the X-Men. Um, he's just visually looks incredible. Because he's supposed to look like an angel. Um, but also his family is incredibly wealthy. So
Yeah.
the Worthingtons have a small fortune. Growing up, it made him very aloof and very arrogant, if you will.
Hmm.
And it's always one of those things where he's with the early X-Men team, he always has a problem with that. Like, it's always difficult for him to adapt because he's so full of himself, basically.
Yeah.
I think that the interactions between him and Deadpool could be really hilarious. Um, the question I have for the film
Yeah.
is what version of Angel they take. So
Mm.
if it's regular Angel, then you've got this stuck up rich guy that Deadpool can interact with, who also just happens to look incredibly attractive like an angel. So I mean, there's tons that they can work with there. Or
Hmm.
so in the comic books, there is an event that happens with the Marauders where there is a mutant massacre,
Right.
and the Morlocks. There's a big death, basically, big load of death, and it's quite a massive event in X-Men lore. And during that period, Angel has his wings damaged,
Mm.
and they then later get amputated, and he is miserable,
Yeah.
and will do anything to get his powers back. So he makes a deal with probably the worst person that you could make a deal with, Apocalypse. And Apocalypse promises to return his wings for servitude.
Hmm.
And Angel agrees, and he gets genetically mutated more from his original mutation, and he becomes Apocalypse's Horseman of Death, Archangel.
Mm.
And when he becomes Archangel, his skin goes blue, He gets even more strength than he already had, and he gets
Metal wings.
organic metal wings that he can use to fire the feathers off as projectiles. To use an overly used phrase at the moment, he goes so metal, Zane. So yeah, I think you could really the fights between Deadpool and an Archangel, where Archangel literally slices off his limbs, would be hilarious and amazing. You could even have him as the bad guy, the main protagonist in the film, antagonist in the film. And yeah, I think I think he's an excellent character. I think that he was not done justice in X-Men 3, frankly.
Yep.
Just wasn't. They had some cool ideas for him, but they didn't capitalize on it well. He was in which one of the ones was he in?
He's in
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Is he in Apocalypse?
Yeah, Age of Apocalypse with the young
Again, still not done well. Still not done well. And even when he becomes like Archangel in that, it's still even like, oh god, Apocalypse is not a good film, guys. I'm sorry, Bryan Singer really dropped the ball. So yeah. Anyway, that's my third choice. I think it's very. I would say it's extremely likely that we're going to see Angel at some point pop up in the X-Men universe in the MCU. But yeah, what do you think?
Big fan favorite. Also, another X-Force member. Also had a relationship with Psylocke as well. I couldn't remember if they were engaged or just dating. I remember
dating. I don't think they ever got engaged, but yeah.
Yeah. During that run where they all had like the black and white X-Force suit, I remember those two were together at one point. But yeah,
they were
I think it's a cool
boots.
pick.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think it's probably the most likely. I think, having looked at this list that I came up with now, I actually, ironically enough, think Phantomax is a pretty good pick for it, considering they did use Shatterstar in the last movie, and I was like, whoa, that's an edge case thing if ever I've seen it. So I think there is a high chance they might well use Phantomax, especially if they want to mix it into the advanced, the super weapons program or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, I definitely think Angel's going to turn up at some point in the MCU. I 100% think so.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, exciting.
Especially like we've seen him twice already, but as you say, never to the full extent that we could have.
Yeah.
So
I want, if I'm honest, I want blue Archangel. I want proper death Archangel. Like I could still hear, like in the animated cartoon, when like when Warren Worthington goes to Muir Island and it's secretly Apocalypse, and you just like, and Mystique is talking to him and he just goes, Warren Worthington III with the wings of an angel. I still hear it in my head. I was just like, yes, so good. I want proper Apocalypse, man. Give me proper Apocalypse on screen. That's what I want. I want a proper Apocalypse with a proper army and proper horsemen. That is what I want. Give me that in phase 7, 8, and 9. That's what I want. I want that. Please give me the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
What was his son? Do you remember what the oh god, it's not Chamber. There's a Holocaust. Have you seen Holocaust? Do you know that mutant?
No,
he's a son of Apocalypse. He's a walking nuclear meltdown in a suit. It's unbelievable. I'll send you a picture of it later, Zane. It looks so good, and yeah, as you can imagine, he's quite powerful.
Bit like the villain, well, the red herring villain in season 1 of Heroes.
Yes. I mean, yeah. Whilst you're talking about your pick, like, and I'm listening, I will look up a picture of Holocaust and show you, because yeah, he looks insane.
Okay. I think I've settled on my third pick.
Oh yeah, who's he going for?
It's gonna be a weird one, I think.
Well, we're waiting with bated breath, guys. He's.
I'm waiting for you. I can see.
Oh, you're waiting to show. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's the character was Nemesis, and then he becomes Holocaust after some bad stuff happens. Yeah, this is. There's a couple of pictures of him. That's how I know him the best. So for those of you who can't see anything right now and you're not checking us out on YouTube, basically he is literally like a how do I describe it? He's big, he's orange, he's got a massive cannon on his arm, and he's a skeleton.
It's very 90s.
You've seen it?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Looks good, doesn't it, though? Like, that's great. Look at that. Look at that. It is awesome.
His chaps are like the same size as his head.
Yeah, of course. Naturally. Why wouldn't he be? Come on, mate. Go on. But yeah, I want a proper Age of Apocalypse, and or like just a proper Horseman story, because that was one of the coolest things about the books was then like you always whenever it rolled around, you were never sure who Apocalypse's Horsemen were going to be, but he would normally take some core characters and turn them bad and make them more powerful. Like Wolverine was Death at one point.
That was really cool.
The coolest one that I've ever seen was Gambit, when Gambit was Death. That looked amazing. Like Gambit as Death looked so good, so good. Anyway, sorry. Yes, you've settled on your last one. Let's hear it. Come on, it's gonna be Wolverine, isn't it?
Hilarious. But close call actually. So funny enough, my last pick was a villain, and I decided to go for Omega Red.
I was gonna. That's ridiculous. I almost went Omega Red. I was so close to going Omega Red instead of Phantomax. You've no idea. But I was like, no, it's too out there for a villain thing. I don't think they're gonna do it. Awesome choice. Awesome choice. Go on. Please tell me more about Omega Red.
So a fan favorite. Almost seemed, I guess, more as a Wolverine villain than a Deadpool villain.
Yes.
But I know a lot of people have, again, from what I've seen online and talking to people, they've always wanted to see the live action version of Omega Red. And again, in the past, we've had like some great adaptations in the animated space. So there's a Hulk versus Wolverine movie, and like a animated movie, and in that it has Omega Red, Deadpool, and Wolverine, and of course the Hulk. But yeah, that's really cool. And yeah, I think he's another Weapon X like experiment.
He sort of, not really. So he was the Russians' equivalent of the Weapon X program. So so he what's his name? Arkady Rossovich, I think is his name. In the books, basically he's an army soldier guy who is a mutant by birth. He's insane, absolutely insane. Like he likes to murder animals and is just a nasty man. And then he gets put into this program where he gets experimented on by the it's like the KGB, like the Russian KGB. So it's kind of the Russian equivalent of the US government super soldier weapon program, whatever it is called. So they experiment on him, and he has these. He becomes Omega Red as a result of these experiments, where he gets like super strength and all the usual kind of tropes of like super strength, resistance to a lot of stuff, blah blah blah.
Agility.
But his most recognizable trait is he gets tendrils that he can protrude out of his arms, that are made out in the comics. They're made out of a thing called I can never say it. Carbondium. Carbonadium.
Okay.
It is carbondium. I can never say it. So it's like this fictional metal called carbondium, as I just said. Sorry. I don't think they'd use that. I think he'd be made out of like vibranium or something, in the MCU if they introduce him. But as you said, he's tumbled with X-Force quite a lot. He is a Wolverine bad guy. Obviously, Wolverine's been a big part of X-Force over the years. He's terrifying. I mean, he's a
Mm.
terrifying villain, and he's one of those ones where, like you said, he is a fan favorite. And whenever he turns up, it's one of those situations where it's like, oh, this is business has seriously picked up because Omega Red's here.
Yeah, and I guess like from a visual point of view as well, like the fights are always like good and interesting because, like you said, those tendrils, like Wolverine slashes them, but they kind of reassemble. Like they're
Yeah,
never just like
they regrow.
taken
Yeah.
off. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think it'd be a cool sort of, again, visually, like fighting both Deadpool and Wolverine at the same time, or just like a nice, cool, big bad for them to take on.
Yes, I think he would be a really good. That's one thing we didn't really talk about actually with the rest of our picks, but we don't know who the bad guy's going to be in this. You know, I saw
Mm.
speculation that they might be bringing back Ajax for it from the first film, which is fine. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think I would either like to see. If I'm speaking personally, as far as like
Mm.
villains are concerned, yeah, Omega Red would be an absolutely perfect example because you could have. I can see the fight now with Wolverine in his claws and Deadpool in the
Mm.
swords against the carbondium, carbondium tendrils of Omega Red. I was also thinking it might be quite. They might use Lady Deathstrike as a baddie in this one as well because I was
That'd be
thinking.
cool.
I wonder if they're going to do like a Deadpool goes to feudal Japan to discover himself, and then
Ooh.
he meets Wolverine there, who's with Yumiko over there, and then she goes full Lady Deathstrike, and they have to control her. But that's a
I,
that's a
I
wild,
know we
crazy
already,
theory.
I know we had it not too long ago, but add in Silver Samurai.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That'd be cool.
That'd be
That'd be
cool.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Would you like to know the full list that I've got? I just looked up what Omega Red's powers are. Would you like to hear his full powers?
List them off, baby.
Okay. Omega Red possesses various superhuman attributes as a result of being a mutant and after undergoing augmentation procedures at the hand of the Soviet government during the 1960s.
Mm.
He was described by Dazzler to be an Omega level mutant. So, for those of you not knowing what an Omega level mutant is, that means most effing powerful. So, his powers are as follow: Death Factor. Omega
Mm.
Red can emit lethal pheromones from his body. These spores result in weakness or death of anybody in his vicinity. The
Oh.
severity of the effect is based on the endurance, health, and relative proximity of the victims. Normal humans can be killed or incapacitated after a matter of seconds of exposure, while a being with exceptionally accelerated healing powers and physical stamina can sustain exposure for minutes or hours. At the fullest extent, Arcades' spores can easily blanket the world, assuming he can reach a high enough orbital altitude first.
Wow.
That's power one. He stinks of death. That's power one, right? Life force absorption. Omega Red has the ability and need to drain the life force of other humans to sustain his own. He can do this
Mm.
by ensnaring his victims within his tentacles and using them as a conduit for his death factor. At one time, the combination of his death factor and the presence of carbon, that thing I can't say, in his
Mm-hmm.
body had the effect of slowly poisoning him, which has caused him to need to drain life forces frequently. The more life force he drains, the stronger he gets and the faster he heals. And then we go into the usual superhuman strength, stamina, durability, agility, reflexes, and the big old classic regenerative healing factor that all super soldier people seem to have.
The cream
Uh,
really rises to the top.
he really does. Yeah, he's going to be played by Batman. That's confirmed.
Buzzsaw is
Cool.
back.
Yeah, Buzzsaw. Bonesaw! It's Bonesaw, Daddy! Anyway, yeah, that's a good shout, mate. I think that's really good. I think he's a very likely villain in Deadpool 3. I think you've hit the nail bang on the head with that, and yeah, I'd like to see it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so there you go. That's our 6 picks for who we would like to see as mutants
Mm.
turning up in the franchise soon. But guys, there's loads of mutants out there. Who would you like to see showing up in this MCU mutant madness? Zane, how can they get in touch with us to let us know?
You can follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at undisputed_nerds. You can also email in, which is nerdsundisputed@gmail.com. Oh, by the way, we've had some reviews on Apple Podcast. I think it's be a great time to just give him a little shout out if that's all right with you.
Zane? Was it you? Be
I
honest with me.
wish.
Okay.
I wish. I can't vote twice.
We've had a total of 2 votes, and he can't vote twice, folks. And the other one wasn't me. I'm too lazy.
So we've got Goat Esquire, who gave us five stars.
No, let that name gravitate for a little bit. That's amazing. Goat Esquire. Fantastic. Sorry, carry on.
Who popped a comment in that said, "Friendly duo, casually talk about nerds. These guys have great chemistry and discuss tones of funny things about nerdy culture, informative and fun."
Wow, man. I don't know whoever that was that I need to pay. Thanks very much. That's great. I appreciate that.
We've got another one that says, "Funny lads, love the bants and nerdy convo." And the last one here from Lou88, loved your Star Wars and Disney episodes. It was they are great listens. There we go. 5
Thank
stars.
you very much. That's very kind of you guys. Yeah, please by all means leave the comments and leave us a rating, because it really does help us on the show. You have no idea. So yeah, leave us those things. If you want to get hold of me, it's at Gentleman the Gamer on Instagram. You can also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Gentleman the Gamer, every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 GMT. Yeah, cool. Well, She-Hulk still hasn't finished yet, Zane. So, and it still won't have finished by next week. So I'm not sure what we're going to talk about next week, but hey, we'll find something out, won't we?
I might not be here next week because I'll be.
Oh God, that's right. I've got to find a co-host. Oh no! Oh no! I've got to do it myself.
A special guest.
No. Oh God, guys. Oh gee. All right. If there's any nerds out there who want to come on the show, well, I'll find someone. Good. Well, Zane, I'll speak to you before you go, but for the listeners out there, have a safe bon voyage to New York. Enjoy it. I'm not jealous at all, not even remotely.
Oh, actually, I saw you'll like this. I saw a meme this week, which was Matt Berry and the way he says New York City, where he's like New York City.
I've got this. We'll do this very quickly, and then we'll finish at the show. I've got this running thing with my wife where it drives her absolutely. So my wife is American, guys, for those of you who don't know out there, and it drives her absolutely crazy when I say that. And I apologize for our American listeners. I know this isn't real, but I do like to do a wind up where I say that they pronounce sector weirdly. And so I'm just like, oh, what's happened over there? Have they gone into a different sector? New York, sectors. I can't wait for you to be there. Guys, it's been beautiful. Zane, your bishop is going to be magnificent. That sounded really weird. And I'm out.